Hello guys, hi, how are you doing today? This is my face and welcome to my channel. Before we get into today's topic, here is the song and video of the day because I love sharing what I've been listening to and watching.
On it way back in 2015, but so much has happened since, and there's so much more that I never got a chance to talk about. So today, let's revisit Walt Disney World's first water park and one of the most iconic.
Today's video is my showcase of 5 amazing Vaporwave albums to play at a future party. Get it? Future funk? These are 5 super upbeat Vaporwave releases from some of my absolute favorite producers in the game. Most of these albums are some of the classics and very well known within the genre. But if you aren't familiar with Vaporwave or want to learn more, these albums are a pretty great starting point. I do want to disclaim really quickly that this list is just from my perspective. So if I miss any of your favorite albums, no worries, just listen in the comments below. Hopefully I'll do another one of these videos someday, and if you have any more suggestions on video topics, let me know in the comments as well. Alright, now let's groove right on into this list. So for this list, I'm going to be talking about the artwork first, the album artwork, and the music second. Because with Vaporwave, if you're unaware, the album artwork is the key to understanding the music for the most part. So for number 5, we have Girls on Bikes by Opus Science Collective, or OSC. So this artwork is just hella cute. It's literally this pink-haired goddess on this teal bike, and she looks like she's riding on the beach, maybe on a boardwalk, in some glittery universe, and it's just so cute. I love it. You also get some scribble styling in the background, like one of those old cups that fuel everyone's big nostalgic energy from the 90s and early 2000s. Do you remember those cups? Yeah, those are like so aesthetically pleasing to me. It's crazy. The Obi strip is following the same color scheme as our girl here. Honestly, any Obi strip is just aesthetically pleasing in general, so the fact that they included it is just amazing, fantastic, super cool. As for the music, I'd say that this album offers like that synth heavy 80s like aerobics class Jane Fonda with the pink leg warmers, big curly hair, all those vibes. Like we're going cardioing, but it wasn't cardio back then sort of thing. Every song will make you want to dance almost immediately. Like I can guarantee that. This album really reminds me of an animated music thing I saw as a kid called Animusic. If any of you guys know about that, oh my god, shout out, because that was like so cool and nostalgic to me. And I still kind of watch them every so often. I don't know, they're really cool. I think it came out in the late 90s or early 2000s, but I'll try to leave a link in the description box if I can find it so you guys can see what I'm talking about. The track Girls on Bikes is a perfect intro to this album, showcasing those big synths that will be heard throughout the rest of the project. I would say Boys Fall Easy is just a bit darker in tone than the first track, but it's definitely one of the best songs to listen to in a car. Like let's say you're having a bad day at work and need something to make life worth living for again, like this is the fucking song I recommend. Cycles at Sundown is my personal favorite track on this project. The key change in the middle, it turns up, man. This is like the quintessential Rainbow Road song when you're playing Mario Kart and you're beating all the other computers because you're playing by yourself because we're supposed to be social distancing. Anyway, Lipstick and Lollipops gives off a totally different vibe than the first 3 songs on this project. Like the girl on the album just saw the cutest guy across the boardwalk wearing the leather jacket, giving off these Grease vibes, maybe wearing some loafers, and she just wants to channel her inner bad bitch and catch his eye. Those are the vibes the song is giving me. There's like a sample of this girl breathing throughout the song and it just gives it this sensual, cool vibe. I don't know, it's just really cool. I love the song. And lastly, The Ride Home. It's kind of a more laid back, beachy, Casio sounding vibe. Definitely seeing like a white convertible with the top down, riding next to like a beach with an almost set sunset. And it's just giving me those cool fucking vibes. I always recommend this album to new Vaporwave listeners because it's relatively short, it's really catchy, and it's just a really simple, cute vibe. I don't know what else to say. All these albums will be listed in the description box, by the way. All right, on to the next one. Start! The next album is Vaporwave's Greatest Hits Volume 1.0. Now this is impeccable album artwork we got going on here. The typography is always just so iconic for Vaporwave. He does this cool fluid thing with his type and his graphics, as you can see here with Manipool and Acid Arcadia, and it always just fits the vibe of the music so well, and Vapor just has this particular unique style. I'm not going to go through every single track on this project because this album is quite long. It has 22 tracks, but I can definitely say Vapor is one of my absolute favorite Vaporwave producers. He practically invented the vapor trap subgenre with his first project Manipool, which I talked about earlier. His universe of music has only expanded and went from a really, really simple sound to something that's super, super hashed out like this album. This, like one of the tracks on their first album that we talked about, is a really good album to play Mario Kart to, and it's one I go back to over and over again when I play video games. You'll win every course. You'll be a fucking Super Saiyan, I promise you. 9 out of 10 gamers are now blonde after listening to this album. This is a completely no-skip album. It's best played completely through from start to finish, but I do have personal favorite tracks, which I'll list right here. The beats on this album are honestly unmatched, and honestly so perfect for dancing and being generally memeing and scheming. Our third album is Cat System Corp and Stereo Components collaboration project Ocean Beach. This album is funky as hell, I must say. This one goes out to all you vapor gods and goddesses out there. This album artwork is definitely going in kind of the opposite direction as the first two projects we talked about. We've got the classic New York City skyline in the background, very satisfying, but on top of that, we got the classic Outrun grid system underneath, a supercar BMW, and many repeating statues of an Olympic Greek statue. Let's talk about how aesthetic that is, bitch! Just overall a satisfying cover if you ask me. The music on this album reminds me so much of something from the movie Hot Rod. That 80s feel-good, head-bopping adventure music. One that will make you want to drift through the streets like the king of the night and feel on top of the world. Kind of like that scene in Perks of Being a Wallflower where they're listening to Fame by David Bowie, and it's like the song they don't remember what it's called, and they're standing on the back of Ezra's truck. It sounds like that, like those vibes. Or walking down the street in the 80s with like your leather jacket and teased hair and bright fuchsia lipstick trying to impress the boys on the block. I would say a standout track on this album is Rocket Gibraltar because it's a meta vapor track. Luxury Elite had a song on a collab album with St. Pepsi, Late Night Delight, that used the same sample in a different way, and that's honestly one of my favorite things about Vaporwave. Like, everyone can just take a sample of the same thing and manipulate it to sound completely different, and it's really amazing to hear everyone's different styles going into that same sample and it sounding amazing all around, no matter how you manipulate it. And that's just one of the great things about this genre. The next album on our list is Dan Mason's Summertime EP. Now, while Ocean Beach gives off less beach vibes and more city vibes, this project gives you all the beach vibes. The artwork is of a very color-blocked pool scene with diving board, some blow-up beach accessories, and the coolest pink-lined pool. I absolutely love the color scheme of this album. Blue and pink vibes always hit for me. Definitely reminds me of like the Chitty Chitty Bang Bang alphabet book art. You know, the kids book from the late 90s, kind of like that. The music on this really fits the artwork, and I frequently play this project when I'm chilling and vibing in my own pool, like when I'm doing cardio and swimming and stuff. I'm feeling the burn and smelling the chlorine just listening to this album. Midnight, Track 3, and Virtual give us some very big future funk energy with some English and Japanese samples used. Track 3 is one of my honest to God favorite vapor songs of all time. I highly recommend listening to that. Online Shopping is more of a mall-soft funk track, while Breaking Down gives us some beeps and boops. If you're into that, you know. If you're about to throw the biggest pool party on Zoom, Then this is the best vapor project for the occasion. Dan Mason is honestly such a master sampler and I adore his music. Highly recommend. Highly, highly, highly recommend. Now, before we get into our number one spot, make sure you subscribe if you like the content. Give this video a big thumbs up if you like this video. It'll really help out the channel and I appreciate you guys from the bottom of my heart. Here are some honorable mentions before we move on to our number one album.
A lot more civilized.
I hope you have something great to wear tonight, because we're going to a party.
A party?
I want to introduce you to someone.
And our number one album is none other than St. Pepsi Hit Vibes. Now this album is the ultimate vaporwave experience, the ultimate future funk album that everyone should listen to. It is honestly such a classic. It is the perfect listen on like a sunny day when you want to remember some nostalgic things that maybe you haven't even lived through yet. Who the fuck knows? This album is just wild from start to finish. The artwork is super simple to the point, but it's effective nonetheless. It's got very bold red, yellow, and gray colors, kind of a style you would see on a textbook from the 90s. This project is full of classic and semi-recognizable hits if you've listened to enough generic vaporwave mixes on YouTube. Skylar Spence has just mastered vaporwave and future funk in such a fun way and has elevated the whole genre with his music. Hit Vibes is constructed in a pretty basic way for future funk, but he was one of the first to do it. And this album is one I keep coming back to time and time again. I cannot stress that enough. There are definitely slow moments in this album where you can break away from the party and get a new drink or find a pretty girl or boy to slow dance with. And I think that the slower tracks like the interlude and Miss You just give the whole album a different vibe and depth. My personal favorite tracks are Cherry Pepsi, Around, Strawberry Lemonade, and Fantasy. This is just one of those vaporwave albums I have to recommend to people that are just starting to get into vaporwave, and I honestly listen to it all the time. I really don't think any other album can top the energy of this one. It's just so fantastic. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video and my recommendations. Leave any recommendations you'd like in the comments below. Make sure you also follow me on Instagram at Lisa the Computer, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.